Welcome back to Fonti International. So far, great levels over there regarding the U.S. indices. S&P 500 is almost 0.6% higher. Dow as well, a little bit more than 0.6% higher. And Nasdaq Composite 9,186 points. I want to make you notice that Dow is trading at 28,935 points, almost hitting the 29,000 points, and this is incredible. Certainly we're going to discuss each and every one of them, but I want to show you something. And of course, after what I was bringing to you as a story in the last part of the show, the US believes that a Ukrainian commercial aircraft that crashed shortly after takeoff on Wednesday was downed by 2 surface-to-air missiles fired by Iran. According to US officials, we have a high level of confidence that this was shot down by Iran. According to the officials, adding that the plane was being tracked by Iranian radar just before the 2 missiles were fired. So, yesterday President Trump was more of a kind like a friendly to Iran, and he signaled no further escalation of the conflict. So the defense sector and the major defense stocks were trading down. On the other side today, when we've heard the stories from Iran that they're not done with retaliating the United States, I want to show you the defense stocks that are all inching higher, each and every one of them. For instance, Lockheed Martin Corp is 1.20 in the green. And here we have another one, the Northrop, 0.8% higher, together with L3Harris Technologies, 0.7% higher. This is very interesting. And on the other side, I want to bring you an extremely interesting story regarding Airbus. And this is Airbus listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Actually, Airbus said that it will ramp up production of US-made 320 narrow-body jetliners at its Mobile, Alabama plant to 7 a month by the start of 2021 from 5 months currently. Of course, the decision also comes after Airbus overtook chief rival Boeing as the world's biggest aircraft manufacturer, as the US company was hobbled by the crisis surrounding the still grounded 737 MAX after 2 fatal crashes, and adding the one from yesterday, 3 fatal crashes in, I believe, not more than 8 months of a time lapse. Airbus is also scrambling to keep up with strong demand, which was a key driver in ramping up production, as a spokeswoman said. Big customers like JetBlue Airways have faced delivery delays for their Airbus A320 jets as a result of the factory problems. So, I just wanted to point out that Airbus have been trading at a very high levels in the last few months, at least on the European markets. I want to talk about Facebook because it's going to be an extremely important actor during the presidential elections. 2020 is a crucial year for the United States, and of course as a consequence to the world, because as we can see, US is deciding very often for the entire world. So it's very important to see who is going to be the next president. In a break with other tech companies, Facebook said it wouldn't limit how political ads are targeted to potential voters, but would instead give users tools to see fewer of those ads on its platforms. The move by Facebook, which says the private company shouldn't decide how campaigns are able to reach potential voters, is at odds with how other tech firms are approaching political ads leading up to the 2020 election. The social media giant also announced changes it say will boost transparency about how political ads are shared. The company based its policy on the principle that people should be able to hear from those who wish to lead them, words and all, and that what they say should be scrutinized and debated in public, according to a memo from Rob Lathorn, Facebook's director of product management. This does not mean that politicians can say whatever they like in advertisements on Facebook. So I just wanted to remind that all the tech companies, all the tech giants are kind of more careful regarding ads. Google together with Facebook, and talking about Facebook, it's 1.13 in the green, but the real gainer since I believe at least 3 days is Apple, $309 per share, all-time record highs, new milestone for the company, 2.15 in the green territory. I mean, that's just astonishing trading of Apple together with Microsoft, $161 per share, 1.14 in the green. So far, the two best performing stocks in 2019. Let's see what is going to happen in 2020. Anyway, before we go ahead, let me bring to the show my next guest this evening, Sante Pellegrino, CEO, SantePTrader.com. Good evening, Sante, and welcome to the show.
Good evening, Aleksandra. Good evening to all the traders that see us.
Sante, I mean, the levels of the US indices, the three major averages are crazy. How far can we go with these levels? Because it almost looks surreal.
I think it's not really terrible to have a new high, because it's really important for the USA. It's more important for the next election of Trump's. And for this, I think the USA index can do another maximum level, because it's really interesting for the Trump to create another good pattern to have the possibility to are re-elected. This is really important, and I think Trump is a really good trader, because when the market go overbought, he create an Iran crisis. For this, I think it's a really good trader. It's no good for the people of Iran, but it's a really things that that of my opinion. For this, I think it's not the trader can't have a fear to go up on this level, because the next level is really interesting, and more stocks can have a good reputation, because in this year can have another gain and create another interesting gain, because create more growth on the balance, and for this it's good for patrimonialization and capitalization of the stocks. This is really important.
Sante, I'm sure though options traders are not happy because we have high figures over there of the markets but low VIX index. I mean, how to explain this?
Okay, it's more interesting to observe how the option trader move. We have two categories of option trader. We have the retail category, and this category always sell volatility or always sell time decay. This is a not good trade, because if you sell volatility or if you sell time decay, you sell entire capitalization of the stock or of the index. Sometimes it's no good, because a lone trader don't have much capital to create a correct age of the risks that the trader assume when sell short and it's naked on the put or call option. This is a not good strategy. On the other side, when the institutional trader create a strategies on option or create a strategies on option, don't sell volatility and don't sell time decay, but buy only a good option, call or put, because the institutional trader defends the portfolio. This is a little difference, but it's a really important difference, because when institutional trader buy option, don't have any risk, have only option, only price option risk, and it's a really limited risk.
So wait a second, are you saying that the VIX is not a good hedge?
Okay, the VIX is a good indication. The VIX is the VIX index is calculated about the implied volatility of the option on stocks, but the implied volatility is only a technical market making price that the institutional trader use to create a good hedging with the portfolio that market maker or institutional trader just have in property. For this VIX index, it's more technical, but it's not a good way to have an indication to trade.
I cannot skip to ask you about Apple because, of course, that was not scripted. I apologize for this surprise, but what do you think about Apple? Because we do see major upward trend over there. I mean, $309 per share. How far can we go?
Okay, if you remember, the next years we talk about Apple and we stay at $224 for stocks, and we have indicated the next level on the resistance. This is the new cycle resistance, and the next resistance is like 3,050, $315 for stocks, because now the trend it's really good. It's really motivated to create another resistance at that level. The only possibility that the stocks can go down, it's only if Apple close down on the support, on the static support. This static support is near $2,088 for stocks.
Well, I mean, certainly that's very interesting. I was wondering, what is your opinion about Boeing? Because it's a stock that really suffered in the last year a lot after two crashes. And on Wednesday, we saw another crash. And now, of course, the United States blaming Iran once again about this crash. Actually, they say that the airplane was down by surface-to-air missiles fired by Iran. I mean, this is pretty much of an accusation. And of course, as a consequence, Boeing is trading higher because right now, of course, people think, all right, it's not Boeing's fault this time. So do you think there is a, how can I say, some bright spot for this stock, some, how can I say, positivity?
Okay, I'm not really positivity for Boeing because Boeing it's absolutely in stocks of defense composition index on the USA, but it's a part of this sector. Boeing it's a really interesting stocks because it's the major firms that create an aircraft and Airbus and all kind of aerospace aerospace craft because it's the big player on all over the world. But
no, it's Airbus. I have to correct you. After the two crashes and the suspension of 737 MAX, it's officially Airbus.
Okay, thank you. This is a good notice for me. It's really because Boeing have some problems about software updating, and the crash in the past about I don't remember well, but I think Russian Air and another one in the Africa Air company. It's not a good notice, and it's not a good for the Boeing company. Now the price it's really squeezy on the volatility in the low part of the trend, and for this the stocks can go up, but if have a possibility to create a breakout pattern about $350 or $300 for stocks, it's more interesting. $350 for stocks, it's more interesting because can go up on the first cycle resistance, and this first cycle resistance is the big resistance, because if Boeing go up on $350 for stocks, can create a new opportunity to go up and have a little rally to close the gap on the upside of the channel trend, up channel trend to create the close of gap at the level 380. This is a really good opportunity, but we have a not good price, a not good situation now, because all market maker, all institutional trader sell short these stocks, Boeing stocks, at the level, at the actuality level. This is not a good situation for Boeing. For this, I think it's really interesting that you observe to invest in Airbus, or in alternative, we can invest in Rolls-Royce, because Rolls-Royce is the creator of more motors of the air. I think this is the way the trader can diversify the vision on the market. But in the same time, we talk about Lockheed Martin because it's the first firms that create the best aircraft to war. F-35 is the best aircraft at this time in the military strategy, or the military action is the best aircraft. And look at Martin go up in the really interesting movement from the 1st January of the last years to 2019, the last year, the trend started at the level of $225 for stocks, and now the Lockheed Martin have the stock price at the $415 for stocks, and this is the double price of the first time in the last year.
Absolutely. It's crazy. Crazy. How to explain these dynamics?
It's simple, because in USA some people create a really great lobby of industrials. This is a reality in USA, because more people create a lobby about an association, about public relation events. This is really interesting, and for this Trump have the motive life of election, great American again. This is really interesting for the all self-made or all industrial people in USA. This is a good time for USA.
Absolutely. I should point out that since President Trump is the president of the United States, the defense stocks have been doing great job, of course, except Boeing, but for personal reasons, of course. All the rest did a great job, major jump, as you said, more than $200 in 1 year time lapse. That's pretty much of a gain. I mean, no doubt about it. On the other side, I just wanted to remind you and, of course, all our viewers that Airbus will ramp up production in the United States of the A320. I believe the stock and the company had a milestone year in 2019, but of course, this major success for the Airbus is because, of course, Boeing was under pressure during the year because of the two fatal crashes. So you personally, do you prefer Airbus or Boeing if you base yourself both on fundamentals and technical analysis?
Okay, I want to find Airbus.
Yeah, it's very difficult to find it because it's listed in more markets. But let's see Airbus in the European markets, like the French one, probably.
Okay. But I prefer to invest in Boeing for one reason. Boeing is the best firms in USA, but all over the world and in all over the world, because have a simple models. 737 is the best air, the best commercial air plane.
Oh, come on!
Yeah.
3 crashes. I mean.
But
I'm not sure you want to fly inside of the 737 MAX. I'm not sure you want to fly, you know?
No, maximum not, because have a software problems. And for this Boeing don't commercial now the maximum Boeing. But I think the oldest version, it's the best airplane that Boeing have sell all over the world. I know it's that crazy, this opinion, but if Boeing have more experience than Airbus, I think it's important, because in the past we can remember the other crashes like Air France, like Russian Air with Concorde. I don't know if you remember. This is only a no good situation for Boeing, but I think the engineering or the group of work of Boeing can do well in the next month, I think.
All right, Sante, let me ask you one last question. Since tensions between the United States and Iran are ramping up once again, I just want to show our viewers very quickly the oil price. So far, we do witness once again a downturn. How far is going to go this downturn? Are we going to go below the $50 per barrel?
Crude oil at now have down on the 60, and for this it's not good for the barrel at this level. Just one moment, because the chart can charge. I can charge the charts of crude oil, and say you my opinion of the charts of the crude oil. Only 1 second.
Yeah,
but,
no worries. But I'm going to tell you the price so far: $95 for the WTI, which is 0.7% lower, and the Brent $65, 0.64% in the red territory. But in terms of U.S. oil, only a few days ago it was $63, and the Brent was hitting. I mean, it was trading above the $70, and right now, I mean, 5% decline once again.
Okay, I remember that you observe that the crude oil movement. I study crude oil because it's the best traded futures contract on the CME, and for me it's more important. But I remember you have a good analysis of crude oil, because you have you have look the volatility movement on the crude oil. I remember this, and it's a really volatility movement, because crude oil come back on the $59 for barrel. This is a no good situation for crude oil, but it's more important to take care this level of support, because if the Iran situation create another volatility pattern, this is a good support to create an uptrend at this level to return on the $62 or $65 for barrel. Now we have an opportunity to create a support level on the crude oil.
Well, that's very interesting, but I was wondering, everyone is wondering, are we going to be back at $50 or below 50?
$50.
Or that's quite difficult, because market is still oversupplied. It's going to be oversupplied.
Yeah. It's really the only situation. I talk about the chart analysis. The only situation that the crude oil can go down on the $55 or $50 for a barrel. It's when the stocks create a breakout pattern under $56 or $55 for barrel. That is the important trend line support that create an uptrend on the crude oil.
All right, thank you very much. Sante Pellegrino, CEO, SantePTrader.com. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great evening.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you to Aleksandra, and bye-bye to all our traders.